I'll be honest with you guys. Sometimes the conversations behind the scene are better. But when goes on in front of the video scope, what is going on, everyone? Hope everybody's having a great Monday evening. We're here to talk some Niners offseason ball, but we got a special guest, Mariah from 49er Faithfully podcast. How you doing, Mariah?
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah. I was just on Mariah's channel on Saturday.
Gotta give her the love.
And that was great. Mariah gets a little bit fired up when she talks about, Jimmy Garoppolo and stuff like that. So that was great. I love it. Her and Bashar are like you guys speak for me because I try to keep the F-bombs off YouTube as much as possible. So I speak through the two of you. So, guys, we don't have nothing's really hit the fan yet as far as off season goes, but there's a lot of stuff that's been kind of floating around out there. Not the biggest news, but the Niners actually re-signed long snapper Tabor Pepper. Not the biggest news. I mean, but the offseason has officially begun.
I think that actually has implications.
I do too. Hopefully. And then along the lines of that, there was a report going around that's actually false right now that says that Robbie Gould is re-signed to the franchise tag. Have not seen any confirmation. I don't know, guys. I mean, he's pretty clutch. He does well in the postseason. He's not exactly a stalwart when it comes to kicking from a long distance, and kickoffs are kind of lacking. I guess my question to you guys is, are you cool bringing back Robbie Gould as the kicker, or would you be okay if the Niners went another direction? I'll go with Mariah.
I would like to get younger, but I mean, if they bring him back, I'm not going to be mad either. So, I mean, pretty much I don't care either way. But if I could pick, I would draft somebody and go younger at the position.
Anybody?
I was one the kicker that could hit some damn 65-yard field goals, but looks like it's never going to happen because Robbie Gould never wants to age. So we're just going to stick with him because we know he can make all the consistent ones. So it is what it is.
I'd rather go. Go ahead, Brian.
No, please. I'd like to go last.
Okay. Then why did you go ahead of me?
I just heard silence.
Just messing with you. Eventually we got to get younger. Absolutely, get a new kicker. But Robbie Gould, he's not your 65, yarder guy, but he has been clutch, and the most important part is in the playoffs, and that's what we expect to be quite a bit, and we need him in that. Wouldn't want to go into a playoff game with the Cowboys ex-kicker missing extra points. So if anything, I'm comfortable with Robbie Gould, but I don't foresee another contract like he first got with us coming out of Chicago. He's not going to get that type of contract. He's probably going to get a 2-year contract. If he's able to do that, then that's good. If not, then by that choice, we move on. I would hate to pay him another 4-year contract and give him $5 million a year at his age. And at the very worst, they can use the franchise tag on him. They're not going to use it in no other player. There's not a player on this roster that they really going to use it on. So why not use it on him like they did the first time? But we'll see.
There's a lot of pots on the boil right now, and the 49ers have a lot of stuff to worry about. So hopefully it's a seamless situation and he can just sign and could be done with it. Because like I said, there's a ton of pots on the boil, and the least of our concern is kicker.
So I think the reason why they went out quick and signed Tabor Pepper is because they want to bring Robbie back. And by securing his long snapper, it not only does it say, hey, you want to come back, but it also goes, hey, if you go somewhere else, you're not going to have your long snapper. You know what I mean? So I think that was a big thing. And, yes, kicker, long snapper, those are the only positions the 49ers will use the franchise tag on, because they're not going to spend top 5 of the market on any other position. They're going to do some other deal to get below that number so they don't have to pay the player like that. So Getting younger at the position would be nice. I just don't. There's like one good kicker in the draft this year. You know what I mean? And there's probably more than one team that wants a good kicker. You know what I mean? So
Right.
there's like, I don't know if there's any, I don't think there's any good free agent kickers coming up this year, that you'd want to, and you would be battling out, in a war for best price to see where he lands, so.
He was talking on social media after the season that the Niners had unfinished business and
Yeah.
gave his opinion on the Super Bowl quarterbacks and stuff. So I don't know. Seems like his mind is still in the Bay Area, but as far as like you said, you can't, dude. They
could be wanting a 2-year, and he could be saying, "I only want one." It could be 2 and a 3-year. That could be it. I'm sure the money is somewhere close. I'm sure that's not the big hang up, because it's not like there's a lot of money to really get hung up over on a kicker salary. So, an extra 20 G's, you know what I'm saying? An extra 100,000, who cares? Just sign the kicker. I think what's holding things up right now is the length of the contract, and maybe how it's divvied up, signing bonuses guaranteed and all that good stuff.
Yeah, like I said, special teams talk is probably the least exciting thing to talk about, but it can become important, especially in the playoffs. So hopefully the Niners can figure that out soon. I have this on my topics here, and I said this last week. I think I had it with Ted or whoever was on here, Jesse, that the Niners' true offseason begins once Purdy has surgery, and we know exactly what we're dealing with, because that kind of snowballs into whether the Niners need to do certain things as far as in the draft or free agency, bringing in a quarterback. Mariah, would you agree that the Niners are really being held up right now by just the lack of, not the lack of news, but the fact that he didn't have surgery on the 22nd, and now we're kind of just waiting for the fallout of what the doctors find once they get in there? Because, the Niners can't really do anything roster-wise until they have an idea of what's going on with Mr. Purdy.
Yeah, I completely agree. Hopefully we find out something soon, but I don't know. It seems like they're going to do a 2-week check like every other 2 weeks. So we'll see. Hopefully the swelling's down so they can just hurry up and get it done with. So we know what what it's going to look like moving forward.
Yeah, I heard that one of the reasons that they don't like to do surgery with their swelling and stuff is sometimes it can lead to infections and stuff like that in a surgery. So,
yep.
They talk about all like people in the old day, be like, "Oh, I don't care, just go in there and woo, and operate." Not the case. Can't. Just right. It's kind of like and you have a tooth issue, like maybe an infection. They don't go surgery while you have an infection. They wait for the infection to go away before they go poking and prodding. So it's probably kind of the same thing. To me,
also,
it's just. Go ahead, Ryan.
If you put the brace on too early and it's still swollen, then when the swelling reduces, it's not going to be bracing it right and correctly.
Bash, would you agree that the Niners offseason begins once we get answers?
I think it began. It already began. I mean, I think either way the 49ers are going to do their. You're speaking in terms of what, us, whether or not we pursue that backup quarterback, and how much money we spend in that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I get you, because it's like if Trey Lance, if they do that surgery and they figure out that, hey, we're not going to have Brock Purdy at all, they probably do spend more money on the quarterback position, which I'd hate for them to do. I don't want them to spend a whole lot of money on the quarterback position. I just don't. I'm assuming Purdy might show up a little bit later and early in the season, maybe week 3 or 4, perhaps. That's the way I'm kind of eyeballing it, and then who knows what happens. But either way, I looked at the list of free agent quarterbacks. I don't want them to spend money on a whole lot of money on the quarterback position. I just don't. That's just my personal opinion. I think I'm more towards of beefing up the line and beefing up the pass protection. And I think that's way more important. But again, I do get it. You have 2 quarterbacks coming off of injuries. I get that part. Who knows? They might even draft another young quarterback later in the draft if there's somebody that they like. So yeah, it holds it up a little bit, I guess, but I don't think it's that big of a deal.
What do you think, Beto? You think the Niners are going to just do what they got to do as far as the roster goes, or are they are they being hung up? Because I personally think when it comes to the actual quarterback position and whether you need to maybe address a third stringer in free agency, you're definitely going to have to bring in maybe a late round pick as far as for an arm, just to split the reps in camp. What are you just? Are you going to just start making moves maybe outside of that position and kind of like work your way back maybe to the quarterback position?
It's an interesting situation because of the carousel of quarterbacks that we went through last year. Doesn't give Kyle any confidence that we won't find ourselves in that similar situation. Not knowing where Brock is at does put, I believe, the Niners in a bind. In a sense, they're not sure where they're at with Trey because of his injury. They're not sure where they're at with Brock because of his injury. I would hate to spend money, like Bashar says, for a veteran quarterback. They may draft a quarterback in the later rounds, but I don't know if it's a quarterback I don't know if they can draft a quarterback and just sit there and go, let's go in with three really unknowns into the 2023 season. I think they're going to be looking at some veterans. How much they'll spend, I don't know. I hope I know Carson Wentz got cut. I don't know if I want him, period, but nobody's going to offer him a starting job, so he's going to have to take a backup or back up a potential starter that may not last very long. And San Francisco might be somewhere he might be intrigued depending on what he wants to get paid. But I'm looking somewhere in the $35 to $4 million range for a veteran quarterback to come in.
35?
No, 3.5. Excuse me. To 4 million.
I was like, hell
not
no.
35. No, that'll be kind of.
There's all the restructure money.
Yeah. No. I said, yeah, my bad. 3.5 to 4 million for a backup. I know that people are like Derek Carr, and you don't want to bring a starter of that caliber. You're trying to go with Trey. You're trying to go with Brock. You want to bring someone that can build a gap a bridge between those quarterbacks until they're ready to go. So I hate to say this, Matt Ryan. I know he's done, and he's kind of.
I was just going to ask you that about what you would pick between Matt Ryan.
Because he won't cost us that much. He'll probably really cost us the very minimum. And he does know Kyle Shanahan, and he can probably keep us afloat until we figure out the situation with Trey or Brock would be a good idea. But I don't know how confident I would go into the 2023 season with two really unknown quarterbacks and a washed up one with this type of roster. You know what I mean?
Right. I guess Carson Wentz. What the hell? His name's right in front of me. Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan.
He got released from the Commanders.
Yeah, Matt Ryan. And then there was also talk of maybe Tyler Heineke. Could be some of the Niners are looking at. I
wouldn't mind Gardner Minshew. I wouldn't mind Minshew.
Minshew
really cheap.
He's going to cost you around the 10 to 15.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I only want to spend like 10, 12 max. 10, 12 max. I think we need somebody halfway decent, but we don't need somebody who's on the verge of being a starter or just on the verge of used to be a starter,
Eric Crocker and Brian Peacock on Locked On 49ers have been banging the Matt Ryan drum.
No.
Crocker is like, no, and now he's starting to come around to it. And
he's a statue, dude.
He's washed.
He's washed.
Last season when things weren't going right, he started yelling at people on the sidelines. Okay, when our number one quarterback goes down and Matt Ryan becomes our number one quarterback, aka QB2, right? We don't need him getting mad at Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel because he can't throw the ball right. You know what I mean? Or get it to where it needs to be, because Matt Ryan gonna get his ass whooped on the sidelines. Just saying,
someone's gonna dump him on his head.
They're not gonna. Kyle gonna be like, I told him he needed to shut up. That's his own damn fault.
Rome the Upsetter says Tyrod Taylor, I banged on this drum a couple years ago. I don't know if it still applies, but
he's not the same guy anymore.
No.
Though. I don't know.
I heard.
yeah,
he's
but if you're
also
bringing
might
him
be
in for what
expensive.
you're, that's the thing. I think he
I
might
think
cost.
Minshew's the best guy to bring in. I mean, in terms of how cheap he is and how much younger he
Is
is
he a
compared
free
to a lot of those
agent?
other guys.
He's a free agent.
Yeah.
I would
Really
go
cheap,
after
man.
Heineke. I'll ask Mariah, between all these, kind of scrub ass quarterbacks, who's your guy? And Mariah, do you also draft somebody late just to have a
And what's
camp
your
arm
price
to?
range?
Yeah, and what would you be your price range? My price range is anything from 8 to 11 million. I'm not going any higher than that. What are you thinking?
Well, the thing is, I would love a Heineke. I would love somebody of that caliber, but somebody like that, I find it hard to believe they're going to go somewhere as a third string quarterback.
Right.
Especially Heineke. He started games this past season. Why would he go somewhere as a number 3, making $5 million a year when he goes somewhere as a number 2, making $15 million a year? Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. You're not going to have all these good quarterbacks, that are good enough to be just a backup, like banging down the door to come play in the Bay Area with more expensive tax to be the number 3 guy behind 2 young guys. Like, that just doesn't make sense. So yes, that would be my first choice, one of them, but I just don't see that logical. Now, if the news comes out that Brock Purdy has to have, Tommy Johns, he's not going to be ready this season, then I see them going for somebody like that. Heineke, because then they'd be coming in as the number 2 guy. So Matt Ryan, I wouldn't want Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
But, I could see a
Jacoby
situation
Brissett,
where
it
maybe
looks like
that might
he's
work out.
5.4.
Because you're
seems
looking
like-
at this guy to be the third stringer.
Exactly.
You're hoping that he never plays. So
Yep.
you cannot splurge on a third string quarterback.
No. Tyler Heineke wants 3 years, $60 million range.
Yeah,
he could eat fatty.
Yeah.
What about bringing back the guy that we cut at the end of training camp?
No. Oh, him. Okay. I thought you were talking about Nick Mullins.
Nate Sudfeld.
Yeah.
And letting him be your third string quarterback. He knows the system.
I'd be cool with that.
It came down to him really and Brock Purdy, and they decided to go with Brock Purdy. I mean, again, you're hoping that he never plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has
What about a Mike White?
Mike White's a good option too. Again, it's all going to come to the night. Like I said, they got a lot of pots on the boil. They don't have a lot of money to spend in certain areas. The Niners are close, but they need to refine the trenches. Like I've asked Jesse, I asked whoever else I've streamed with, probably you guys last week. It's trench heavy, man. This is going to be a trench heavy offseason. We gotta get better on the offensive line. We got to get better on the defensive line.
What do you think
Because
about Baker
about
Mayfield?
Andy
He's only
Dalton?
demand about $6.5 million per year.
I would steer clear of
Andy
Baker
Dalton,
Mayfield.
6.8. Andy Dalton.
Alton
for
Dalton
Oh,
is a
sorry.
statue now.
I took up 49er minus Minshew only made $2.2 million last year. I'd take him. Yeah. But that's
He'll
what
be
you
getting
want,
more
right?
this year, though.
Yeah.
He'll be
Yeah,
getting more
he
this
he
year.
probably
He'll
has
get this
for
year.
more. He probably has for more.
Let me just ask this.
Is he free? I don't think.
Is
oh,
it
yeah.
sad that we're in Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, year 7, and we're still having quarterback issues, quarterback injuries? I mean, this has been ongoing for a long time. I don't know if it's bad luck. I don't know if it's the way we coach people, use people, if the offensive line is to blame. Doesn't matter. All I know is it's a serious problem. There's a lot of stuff that you can give credit to John Lynch and Kyle for, but if there's one mark on each of their resumes that you could really look at and say, here's the reason why you haven't won a Super Bowl. I forgot who it was on ESPN. She said the Niners have a really good roster. They have, they're well coached, but the one thing that they always have issues with are injuries and quarterback issues. They never addressed either thing, at least completely, and settled on it. Do you guys agree that until the Niners have a quarterback that they can be consistent with over the course of more than 8 to 10 games and maybe like a season or 3, that the Niners are continue to come or fall short?
Well, they went for their quarterback of the future in Trey Lance. They moved
Right.
up, gave up 3 number 1s to get him. So he hasn't worked out, unfortunately. He hasn't worked out for us at this point because of injury, but it's not like they're not trying to address the situation at quarterback. They just haven't figured it out yet. And then injuries are a big part of it too. And I think we kind of got lucky with Brock Purdy coming in through the back door, not really knowing too much about him. And I think the Niners were even surprised on how well he played these last couple of games for them. So it is an issue. I'm one of those guys that don't buy that Kyle's killing our quarterbacks. I think that's a bunch of BS, but that's me. But we do need to address a quarterback if we want to win a Super Bowl and establish one. That's, I can agree with you guys.
Well, we had Jimmy all this time, and we gave him that big contract, and the guy's pretty much been injured every year we've had him except for one, right?
Yep.
So.
And when he's not injured, he's not throwing touchdowns.
Throwing to linebackers.
Where's Steven Supremo? We need you here.
Sometimes we like him when he's injured.
I got to just ask Ryan because he was nodding. He was going back and forth with his head. What do you got to say, Ryan?
Oh, I was just thinking it's not necessarily the injuries. Yes, there's certain things that you consider questionable, this and that. Their biggest thing was they gambled. Kyle looked at John and was like, bro, I can do this with nobody at the helm. Okay. My playbook is king. It wins the games. We just need to find somebody who could, essentially could barely run it. We don't have to pay them nothing. In fact, if they mess up here and there, that's good because then we can point at that and make them take less money. You know what I mean? Like, I think that was their philosophy in the beginning. And then the dust settled and they're like, oh, we almost got something, but we actually really need a quarterback now. And they let too many go by the wayside. And by that time, they were already trying to keep up that team that they built. You know what I mean? Right now, look at what they had to do with Trey Lance. They had to give up all that capital. Why? Because they couldn't get a first-round pick that was high enough to get the talent. Teams normally do that in their first year or so. They try and get that quarterback because they got that good pick. Niners were lucky they could have gone back and gotten another quarterback. They got Nick Bosa, which was probably the best pick out of the draft. I'm so glad they didn't feel like they needed to go and get a quarterback with Nick Bosa's pick. I mean, that could have been really Travis. That could have been really tragic.
I think that was the biggest no-brainer pick in the history of the National Football League.
Yeah,
those type of pass rushers. That Nick Bosa is on a trajectory to have a Hall of Fame career right now. If he can stay healthy more than his brother, because his brother's always hurt. I mean, he's 18 and a half sacks, man. That's not something to sneeze at. That's ridiculous.
If you
considering
love Bosa,
the Niners,
you should say thank you to Jimmy Garoppolo.
You have no idea how happy I am that Jimmy
His
got hurt.
Dumbass got hurt.
James.
He got hurt. Yeah, James got hurt on his own, trying to run out of bounds like a dumbass, and because of that injury, we were able to get.
Well, he should have stayed out of bounds, but him trying to run inbounds is what.
Or inbounds, yeah.
Shout out to Platform. He's the one who makes me call him James now. It's also his birthday this evening, so actually in a couple minutes he's going live on his channel. So once you're done watching this show, make sure to go over to Platform 246, join his show, and wish him a happy birthday.
Absolutely, happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Platform,
happy
Lawrence. Lawrence sounds like he's always mad. When he says James, though, he literally sounds like he's bad.
He does not like Jimmy Garoppolo.
He takes it to a new level. And people get mad at me for the way I criticize Jimmy. And I'm like way nicer about Jimmy than he is.
It's James.
Yeah, I'll say this though. The Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch approach of I just need someone who can run the offense and we'll be fine has been proven 100% wrong. You have to have an high level to elite level quarterback to win a Super Bowl in the National Football League. As much as we want to say that it's defense wins championships, that's not really the case anymore, man. That was proven this Super Bowl. Nobody played defense. It was whoever had the ball last was going to win the game, and nobody stopped nobody. I mean, listen, we can hate on the freaking Chiefs all we want. We can hate on Mahomes, but Niners had a chance to draft him. They whiffed. Kyle had the mindset that he was going to, the future of the franchise was going to be Kirk Cousins. So, that was a flawed mindset to begin with. And I can't get down with this notion that as long as you just have somebody, of average skill and a guy who can read the defense a little bit, you'll be fine. No, that's why as much as I love Brock Purdy and if I had to pick who I want starting tomorrow, I'd pick him just because I think he's the most ready to win at the moment. The ceiling that you see with Trey Lance and what he can do and the things that he could reach, those are the things that win you championships. High level plays, big plays, backbreaker throws that, you got the great coverage, but he still puts it over the defender, the ability to make plays with his legs, all that stuff.
Let me ask you guys a quick question.
Go ahead.
If Brock wouldn't have got hurt, do you guys think that they had a good chance of beating the Eagles and making it to the Super Bowl?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
With Jimmy, you mean?
Josh Allen is one hell of a quarterback, right? And he can't even get close to it.
Josh Allen's a choker. I live in Rochester, New York.
So you're not so you don't think he's a good quarterback? Then?
No, he's a great quarterback. He's just not a great postseason quarterback. He's incredible in the regular season. They beat on a bad AFC East, but every time they go against a team like the Bengals or a team like the Chiefs, they struggle, and he struggles. I don't know what it is. Some people when the lights
for lack of running game,
part of it, but they have enough. Listen, what's the problem is, and I think what's great, you can't really say that about the Chiefs because I don't know if they're battle tested in their division. I think the Niners are pretty battle tested within the NFC West, maybe not this year. So when you get to the playoffs, you've had some tough, hard fought games where they're always close other than this year. The Bills, just like New England, all the years they were winning, that was a 6-0 division record every single year. They didn't have to worry. That's 6 easy wins every single season. I just think the Bills, at least from my perspective, living in Rochester and being let under an hour and 20 minutes away from Buffalo, they're overhyped big time, especially out here. I don't know if I was telling Mariah this when she had me on her stream. I put a post up on Twitter the other day saying, do you guys still wear, do you rep your Niner gear all year long? And then I put something in the tweet that Bills fans around where I live said that they put their stuff away because they're frustrated with the Bills. And I'm like, who does that? Not only is the team front runners, but their fans are front runners too. They talk a lot of smack to Dolphins fans, and the Dolphins still have more championships than they haven't won in 50 years. So I don't know. I think if we had Brock Purdy, I think there was a chance we'd made it to the Super Bowl. Whether we could win it, I don't know. Because
it'll be hard for him to compete with the Patrick Mahomes. As you saw, Hurts went against Patrick Mahomes and almost beat him. Patrick Mahomes is one of those rare quarterbacks. He's like Joe Montana, those Hall of Fame type of quarterbacks that you need on your team. Now, I think you can win a championship with Brock. I know that the ceiling is better with Trey. Trey can give you that extra. I just hope that Trey can pick up that accuracy. I love Trey. I want Trey to be successful. I want to forget about Brock, to be honest with you. Nothing against Brock. Trey was like the saying goes, Trey was my first love. But Brock came in with a nice little skirt, and I'm like, hey, who's that? And I got caught peeking and looking. But hopefully that Trey can figure that maybe this will be something that he needs to realize, oh shit, I need to get my shit together, because if I don't, Brock can easily take away my job. And now that Brock is not be able to start camp, this is my opportunity to show the 49ers that I'm the guy. Because this is going to be, honestly, the opportunity he needs to showcase. If he can't show it, I feel bad for the kid. And he can't struggle. It's gonna, and this part's unfair to Trey.
Oh, you're right.
If Brock starts healing and Trey starts struggling, I hate this, because Kyle will not hesitate to put in Brock and dismiss Trey and sit him in the bench. And it's unfair, because sometimes you have to lose and struggle to be able to become better. This is why I hate that he got hurt this past year, because this would have been the year where even if he would have struggled, they would have stayed with him because they didn't want Jimmy. They wanted Trey. They like Brock. So now I don't know if they'll give him that much lead wins as they would have did this past season, in my opinion.
I hear what you're saying. And I think other people have brought up the same thing. I can't remember who, but my thing is he always gave Jimmy the long leash whenever he played bad, even when Trey Lance was in the picture. So I don't think that is going to be like the shortest leash
who
of all
was
time.
who was behind Jimmy G that
Right.
would threaten
The,
Jimmy?
the guy we drafted number 3 overall, though. And
But
they
he
still
wasn't
had-
really proven.
They still had Jimmy in there playing like shit.
Jimmy was playing like shit. They had the potential of what Trey can do. They saw what Brock has done in 8 games. He sold himself to Kyle. So Kyle knows him for these 8 games now. So now if Trey and I don't think it's fair, like I said, but if Trey struggles, I wouldn't see why Kyle wouldn't hesitate to put in Brock, which is unfair. With Jimmy, even though Trey, they gave up all this, Trey hasn't really shown enough to threaten Jimmy in a sense where, well, Jimmy's struggling, let's put Trey. Otherwise, they would have done it. They didn't do it.
Well, they should have.
Jag says that the 49ers have to hitch their wagon to a QB that can beat Mahomes, Hurts, Burrow for the next 6 to 8 years.
Yeah.
You got
That's
you have
the
to be
league that
And
we're
that
in.
technically
That's
will be
the league-
Trey if he can get the shit together.
you have to be able to compete with the big dogs, man. It's great, you could beat on the NFC and get to the Super Bowl, but I actually want to get to the Super Bowl with a chance to win it.
Mhm.
I'm not happy just being there as a fan, and I'm sure, like
And having a number 1 defense is not always a guarantee you're going to win it. Because if they have a
it's
bad
not.
day,
It's not. It's
if they
so
have a
hard.
bad day,
This league is made for offense.
yeah.
This league is made for wide open passing games to score 50 points in a Super Bowl. I mean, this Super Bowl was entertaining as hell, but if you're a defensive person who likes seeing defensive struggles, you were watching a wrong game because, wow, like nobody played defense. I mean, the Chiefs, all the S that Eagles fans talked to us, whether it was on social media or on our YouTube channels, and to see them not even get a freaking armpit hair on Patrick Mahomes in that game was nice, but at the same time scary because it's like, wow, could the Niners have done any better? What's going on, John V?
John
Thanks
V
for
from
coming
Locker
through
Room Rant.
JV.
I
What
love
up,
John.
John?
John's another one of those
Yo,
fired up
John.
people that you turn your mic off. I would love to have a show with Bashar, Mariah, and John V after losses. Wow,
Oh, we could do it. We could do
you
it
guys
after the
would
next
get
loss.
flagged every single week. The channel should just be named Mother Bleeper. Like
Hide
just
your
have
kids. Hide your kids. Put your
Hide
kids
your
to bed.
that would be an entertaining one, very much. Let's see here. What's going on, Javier Rios?
What up, Mariah? What do you
What's up,
think
Javier?
about what we're talking about?
Yeah,
What's
Ryan.
going on?
Definitely. Ryan's like, what?
Mariah, what do you think?
Me? Well, about what? You guys know my feelings on it. I want Trey. Trey's my guy. Like, that's no secret about that. I agree that he does quarterback like Trey Lance to be able to hang with Mahomes, especially to have a chance to beat him. For so long, we've had a team that can pull the quarterback behind us. We actually need a quarterback that can pull the team behind him.
Yeah. If your defense is having a day where they can't stop anybody, you got to have a quarterback that can go throw for throw.
Your running game's not going to show up every week. Your defense may not show up every week.
Nope.
Every week. So sometimes the quarterback's got to step up.
I agree. Speaking of Trey Lance, Ryan, do you have anything to say, or did you already talk? I forgot.
No, but I think it's all covered. I don't really have anything standing out that hasn't been said.
All right. Trey
I
Lance.
hear the cops in the background.
Yeah, hello. So,
Who's in trouble?
Oh, they coming for you?
they
Oh,
coming?
snap.
They're coming for me.
Beto.
No, I'm on mute, so you can't hear him.
You can't hear his cops.
Somebody's playing GTA in the background. All right. Someone just dropped an airstrike in an intersection on GTA. That's what I do all the time. So Lance was looking for some wide receivers to throw to this past week, college or high school. So to me, if anything, it looks like Trey Lance is good to go, if you ask me. How like I said, the offseason's weird because stuff doesn't really move the needle. But I'm not going to lie, that was good to see. It was a nice thing to see, especially with all the we have a question mark. We have literally one healthy. We don't have any healthy quarterbacks, to be honest with you. But to have him even be ready to throw and be looking for people, I think is a great thing. Anybody have any thoughts on Trey Lance getting going here and getting that arm warm for the season?
I hope he does it soon, man. He needs to go out there and, like I said, he needs to showcase that he's the guy that the Niners went after. And I heard he's been wearing a shoe. I guess during the Super Bowl he was wearing a shoe. He wasn't wearing that boot, so that open boot. So that's a positive thing for Trey. He's been throwing. That's also positive. I think he's been throwing with some college kids, receivers, which is also positive. I'm rooting for Trey. I really am. I'll support either Trey or Brock, but I'm rooting for Trey because I think that in the long run, Trey does. If Trey can become who we think he can or what we want him to be, our chances are definitely better than what Brock does. It's unfair to Brock because of his height, but Trey's gifted, man. He's gifted with body, size, arm. He just got to put it together, and if he does, man, with this defense, this special teams. Imagine if we would have had, and again, these are just imagines, and nothing's going to happen because it ain't true, but imagine if we would have had Joe Burrows on this team already.
We would have won a Super
Oh,
Bowl.
wow. Oh, we could have had Mahomes.
Yeah, Mahomes. Now, to that credit, when the Niners nobody really scouted. The Niners, first of all, they should have scouted quarterbacks. The whole period that I'm going to go after Cousins was idiotic by Kyle. They should have did the due diligence. They should have scouted, period. Whether they went there or not, they would have known more about Mahomes. Now, Mahomes wasn't that great in college. Andy Reid really turned him into what he is today. But Deshaun Watson had won back-to-back championships in Clemson. So that was someone that they should have took a look at. The fact that they were so stubborn and, we're going to pursue Kirk Cousins. Let's go get a pass rusher or a D tackle when you already had Eric Armstead and we got Solomon Thomas.
Well, we got Solomon Thomas.
It made no sense to me. I mean, the Bears were worse. I mean, they moved up with us, gave us a pick to go and get Trubisky instead of either Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson. They're the real idiots. But man, we should have. Yeah, if we would have got a Deshaun, now Deshaun has that off the field crap. Who knows if it wouldn't have happened if he wasn't in Houston? I think it's Houston really just being dirty with him. My personal opinion. And if we would have gotten Mahomes, oh my goodness, those 2 Super Bowls that Mahomes has, he would have. I still believe he still would have had him, just with us instead of with Kansas City, in my opinion. But it is what Kyle, it is. What shoulda, coulda, would have.
Do you think Kyle would have been able to facilitate the Patrick Mahomes that we know today? Like give him the chance, give him the, have the patience.
Develop
Brian Greasy, yes. Without Brian Greasy, no. And he wasn't until this last year, so probably not. If we would have had it Brian Greasy from the get-go, I think we could have.
Shout out to Brian Greasy.
Yep, shout out to Brian
Great
Greasy.
comment by John V. Said, I'm grateful that we passed on Watson. He humiliated us, and we still be looking for a QB that could stay on the field. Yeah, it's
my God.
The Niners. The Niners. I think he meant
I think he would have humiliated.
He would have humiliated us.
I don't think that was on him though. I think that was just people just because he's black quarterback. I hate to say it.
Well, maybe he has this fixated. What's that? I was gonna say stripper. What's that?
He just needs to stay away from massage parlors.
Maybe he always had that massage.
There was no criminal charges.
Regardless of where
no criminal charges. All they want is money. If you're upset about him doing something like that, you're gonna bring up criminal charges against him, not just I want your money. I want you to go.
Sometimes people rather not to go through litigation, and they just rather get paid and be done with it.
Of course, everybody just rather gets paid.
I just believe when there's smoke, there's fire. When there's that many, it's an uncomfortable subject. I really want to not talk about it, but I think when there's that many women talking, I gotta think that there's got to be something there. Can't
whether
be
they were whether they were talking or not, when you go through that many people in a year in a one certain profession, that is a red flag. Like
Yes.
how many?
Yes,
It was over
that's
like
how I look at
100.
it.
That's a red flag. You're telling
Yeah,
me
like-
that after, a handful or so, you ain't got somebody that you know that you can depend on and a backup, a good backup.
You think he just started doing that the year that he got in trouble, or you think he just got caught, or they just came against him? I mean, he told
he'd
the Texans,
been doing it. He'd been doing
well,
it.
he told the Texans, I don't want to be part of your team no more. Trade me.
Rohan, what's
And
up?
after they had trade me, all these
Oh,
allegations came out. Just figure kind of peculiar with it. I just think that maybe he did do it. I'm not saying that the women are lying on it there. And if that's the way I perceive it, I apologize to the women. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I think the Texans ownership is shady.
Oh,
and
super shady.
You know
Well,
what
they
I mean?
also
And
paid for the rooms that some of this stuff supposedly happened in, so they're complicit with it, whether they know it or not. They furnished the rooms.
But it's a hard one because nobody really knows the truth, but those women and Deshaun. So you can go either way. But
Where there's smoke, there's fire. You're right. I'm just
When
saying.
there's smoke, there's
Yeah.
fire. When there's that much going on,
well, that much smoke, I'm surprised his ass didn't get burned. Well, maybe he did. He had to
what
pay
a
that money.
boom. So let's kind of move the conversation to something that's a little less controversial. So the Niners only have about $8 million in cap space right now, which is barely enough to do what they got to do just for maybe bringing in a quarterback or getting a right tackle. There's a lot. See, people, the problem with Twitter and social media is people take inaccurate information and then it becomes well circulated and then there's nothing behind it. I saw a report that the Niners are looking to restructure like we all thought. One of the names they thought about restructuring is Eric Armstead. And a lot of people, including probably Rohan, who's in the chat or was in the chat, and others are saying that's a bad move. I've seen no other person report this of any credence. That's not the right word. Of any credibility. Like your Mayokas or your
Niners don't leak, bro. Niners don't leak. We know they don't leak.
It's imperative we have to make some roster moves as far as re-signing because the Niners have some needs. I guess without getting into the logistics or the semantics of whatever that's going on, I guess what would you? We've all talked about this before. What I'll ask you individually, what would you prioritize as the Niners' biggest free agent priority? I'll go with Mariah first.
I mean, it all really depends. I would say safety, but that's if, Tayshaun doesn't come back. Like, I mean, some moves in-house need to happen first before I really know, what holes we'd have. But I would say D-line, it depends. I mean, it all depends. Safety, we need a safety if he doesn't come back. So that's where I'll go. Well, I'll pretend he's going to retire and I'll go safety.
That would suck. Ryan?
Safety is a very good concern.
It is a huge concern.
It's almost more of a concern over a good D tackle. When it comes down to it, I think it is. But the real big elephant in the room is right tackle.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that it's a free agency need because I don't know what we got in the room. You know what I mean? I really don't know what we have in the room. So therefore, I can't make an assessment. And I will defer. I will just defer to safety. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's hard to know until some other pieces fall. So
yeah. Well, for me, what I have my eyes set on this whole offseason is replacing McGlinchey and getting a real replacement for him. So for me, I'm thinking right tackle. Caleb McGarry would be nice out of Atlanta Falcons. That would be a nice one. Unless, I don't know, I'd like to get one in the draft, but I'm thinking we may have to move up to get one in the draft unless a good one in the third round is available. And we did good. And Burford's a guard.
McGarry.
How much he makes? Good question.
Let me look.
Big Gary, yeah.
He's a right tackle, right?
Yeah, from the Atlanta Falcons.
What do you think, Beto? What's the Niners' biggest free agent priority if they were to go make one massive move?
If Gibson decides to hang it up, if he decides to come back 1 year, signing him, to me that's the first priority is bringing back Gibson. I know people are like he's 34. It don't matter. He played very, very well this offseason. Great. Bringing him back would be a priority. If not, I would say definitely going for a free safety in the draft. In the free agency. If you're going to make a splash, to me, I would love the D tackle as well. But I think the safety will be a cheaper. You will get a need, and it will be cheaper than the D tackle. At least a good D tackle. But my hope is that Gibson comes back for one more year, and then we can go after like Hartgrave or even the kid. What's his name from the Washington Commanders? Can't think of his name. He's a D tackle. He's gonna command about Deron Payne. He's gonna cost like he's gonna demand about 5 years, 100 million. Excuse me, I wish 100 million. But I think the Niners, if they really want him, they can work it. They can work out the contract where they can pay Bosa and him. But I don't know if you want to tie all that money in those two spots. But to me, it would be bringing back Gibson first priority. If not, then going after a safety like Jordan Poyer from the Buffalo Bills or Adrian Amos from the Green Bay Packers would be something that I would look at. But if we can get Gibson, then I want to get a D tackle because I am not comfortable with Javon Kinlaw. I am not comfortable even anybody behind him back there. I need someone they can push. I need a Nick Bosa at D tackle next to Eric Armstead, and that'll make Eric Armstead even better.
Yep.
So that would be a Deron Payne or Hartgrave.
Would you guys consider trading Eric Armstead to free up cap space?
No.
And maybe double dipping in the defensive line in free agency?
Not me, but you guys probably would, but not me. I like what Eric Armstead brings to the table.
Personally, it's tough, man, because I keep forgetting about the Gibson situation. And in my mind, I'm thinking Drake Jackson's going to take a huge leap next year, and we're going to maybe we don't address DN right away, right? Maybe the Niners have a lot of faith in Drake Jackson, and he's going to make that leap, right? So if I had to make a pick, honest to God, even with the Gibson question mark out there, it's got to be right tackle. They have to secure that position. They have to secure that position, and they also offensive line as a whole in the draft. They have to be looking down the road to eventually replace left tackle as well, because as much as we, what's his name is saying, like Trent Williams, he's going to play through, he's 39. I don't think that's going to happen. He was so beat up after this year, and when you make deep playoff runs year after year, it takes a toll on everybody's body. So
don't be surprised if they move Spencer to right.
That's a perfect.
And then him and move Sakel to guard.
Yeah, I mean, we do have some in-house stuff. You know us. We like to redshirt, right? We like to sign guys. Like, for instance, I've been listening to Larry Krueger talk about Marcelino McCrary-Ball, right, as the eventual replacement to Azeez Al-Shire. He's been talking about it. What do the Niners do? What is one of their first offseason re-signs?
Him.
Marcelino McCrary-Ball, right? So it's hard. Sometimes we get so caught up and we forget that the Niners redshirt guys, like defensive line,
they know how to develop.
We have Kalia Davis. We have no idea what Kalia Davis is going to be. Again, the Niners might be like, we already got our defensive tackle and our DN in-house, so we don't prioritize those right away.
Yep.
So if that's the case, and I'm thinking that, then it's got to be either safety or right tackle, and I think right tackle wins out, even if safety's a question mark, only because this offensive line, say what you want about them in the run game, but their pass protection leaves a lot to be desired at times. So
and don't forget about Pope. Pope is his name, I think.
Poe.
Yeah, Poe. He came out strong last year. I think with a whole offseason under his belt, you never know. Even at the center.
I'm looking at this player in right tackle. You have a link. What is his name? Caleb McGrary. Is that the guy you're talking about for right tackle, Bashar?
Yeah, it says he started a whole bunch of games at the right tackle.
Yeah.
A few other guys, I forgot. Some guys on YouTube were bringing him up, and
I can't find him on the sheet, but it seems like he is a free agent, and like Caleb McGray, and
Caleb.
it seems like Denver's even looking at him.
Interesting.
He's not on the free agency list. That's weird.
So,
yeah, he's not.
Speaking. Okay, so we've talked about what we would all make as a priority for a free agent acquisition. I want to move to the draft and talk about something that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. So Debo is been in the talk about, there's been the talk that, even though it was an unconfirmed rumor, there could be a trade between him and the Patriots, or them and the Patriots. And, a lot of people have shot that down or whatever. But if you ask a lot of people that are inside on the Niners or people that, cover the Niners, it seems like Debo might be the guy that could be out the door sooner than later. So my question to you guys is, should the Niners draft a wide receiver for the future with one of their third-round picks?
I want to draft a wide receiver. It doesn't have to be in the third round, though. But
right, it could be, fifth.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind drafting a wide receiver because if Ayuk or Debo were to go down, it just gives you much more depth. And there's a few guys that I like coming out of the draft, so that might be available when we pick. So I'm for drafting one. But why are you concerned about Debo leaving though? What raised that question?
It's just, I don't know. It's a lot of people, like I said, that have a heart, a kind of a pulse on the 49ers, think that he might be the one that moves.
Well, if they go after Ayuk, if they sign Ayuk to that big contract, not this offseason, but next offseason,
right?
Especially if Debo does good this in 2023, and his trade value goes up, they would consider trading him for some value in him, because they're not going to really want to pay both of those top dollar money. If they do get a receiver, I think they would get a receiver in 2024 draft more than in 2023 draft, in my opinion.
You don't think they would do what they did in the old days and you draft for the future like they've been doing and because if you don't want to be 1 year late and 1 year early
away, though. I think Debo may go in 2025. If they, I don't. That's not always say that.
A lot of people are saying by the end of next season. No, so he would play the 2023.
It's a possibility, but
based on what they have to pay him and what kind of physical toll his body takes.
Oh,
yeah.
Go ahead, Ryan.
He's also saying like we got better draft capital next year.
Yeah,
and like
True.
this year,
True.
let's say there's a guy this year who they like. They probably don't have the draft capital to kind of go up against it without just pulling out all the stops, and I'm sure they don't want to just do that, because once you go into next year and stuff like that, your value kind of goes down. You know what I mean? Because we don't know where it's going to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The first rounder for the next year, you know what I mean? You can't say, oh, that's a 27. It's not. It could be a 16. It could be a this and that, but you just get this basic number. So I think they're just, if they find somebody this year, yeah, they'll pick somebody up, see if he's got a quality, you know what I mean, that they like, and they'll put him up. But I'm sure they're going to really look to make a pick next year with that. You know what I mean? And they might use another pick to go up to make sure they get the right guy that they want, like they did with Brandon Ayuk.
If they can find a receiver in the 5th round, like they found Debo, when they found Kittle and got what they got from Kittle, man, that'll be great. It's really up to the scout to see how well they're scouting out there. Because I'm pretty sure there are some good receivers out there that doesn't have to be taken in the top high picks. You just got to do your due diligence. You got to find the Kittles out there. Nobody saw Kittle, and we did, and we brought him, and look where he is today. So I'm pretty sure they can find a receiver like that, a big body receiver in a 5th round, take him with a 5th round, and then develop him to eventually take over for Debo. Doesn't have to be a high pick, but if they are going to take a receiver in a high pick, I'm with Ryan. It'll be next year because they'll have more capital to do so.
That's a good question. That's a good answer.
Real quick, there's 20 people watching, and there is only 8 likes. So please smash that like button, or Debo that like button.
If he's still with the team, Aaron thinks he's going to leave. Just kidding. What up, Mariah? What do you think?
There's
Man?
30 people in the chat.
Yeah, I'm with you guys
Those
about the next year thing. Don't forget that we still have Danny Gray sitting there on ice that we drafted
It's
last
true.
year.
That's true. I forgot. You're right.
I'd much rather us draft a tight end this year and start getting a tight end 2 that could possibly be a tight end 1 once George Kittle's gone. Because right now we have no other tight end on the roster worth a damn. So
yeah,
Agreed.
Tell him, Mariah.
I just think we have bigger needs right now than to worry about putting another wide receiver on ice for a year.
That's a good. That's a good point. I forget that Kyle has absolutely no idea how to how to coach wide receivers.
Assuming Trey Lance finally is the quarterback, do we finally get to see Danny Gray out there? I mean,
Danny Gray did a lot of stuff to get himself put in the doghouse. Apparently, I don't know if he does.
Joanna
Jennings.
Jennings, thank you. Yeah, I still think he's going to be great for us.
They should move him to tight end.
No,
I like him out perfect at wide receiver.
Yeah,
but he has no speed. He's
he's
literally
got
like
really good. He's got really good run after the crash ability, though.
You need speed at tight end, bro.
He gets
That's true.
open.
That's true. You do need speed at tight end. What the hell am I talking about?
Past those linebackers. Yeah.
Somebody in the comments asked me if I'd trust McKivitz. No. We got to be better than that, dude. If we're going to be a Super Bowl contender, we got to stop being cheap. You got to spend some money on
like going with Jimmy G.
Oh my God. People are like, I think the Niners are grooming McKivitz. Then why wasn't he playing this past season?
Yeah,
I don't understand.
They're also saying that they're grooming Nick Zakelj to be center. So
if McKivitz was worth anything and was going to play this year, he would have flashed at some point.
That's what I was
last year when we were watching for it.
I don't want to hear McKivitz at right tackle. You want to get another quarterback killed? Yeah,
it's a lazy approach. It's a lazy approach.
Super lazy approach. There are certain areas where you can go cheap, but not many. One area you can't go cheap is at your tackle positions. You have to spend money. I'm sorry. It's lazy. And if the Niners are thinking that and people on the inside have information about that, I think that's dangerous. That's so dangerous. After what we went through this year, I mean, a lot of the injuries really weren't anybody's fault other than the Trey Lance one. Jimmy's a bitch. He can't stay healthy. And Brock Purdy didn't have a shot to protect himself. They say, oh, if he threw the ball earlier, he would have. Come on, man, really? Like, whatever. But yeah, Jimmy's made out of like cottonelle tissue. All you have to do is breathe on him, and he'll snap an ankle. So, whatever, man.
What's up, Terradome? I just saw Terradome in the house. What's up,
Terradome's in the house.
What's up?
What is
Media's in the house. What's up?
Got
Welcome to the
Terradome. 49er Media's in here. Yeah,
Hey,
I just
Media.
no and I don't want Brunskill either. Stop with Brunskill and McKivitz. Not you, John V, but the 49ers.
No, I do want Brunskill.
Yeah.
I want him as a backup.
We always see him.
To rotate him everywhere.
I'm
good with him as a backup. That's it.
Yeah, a backup that doesn't suit up ever. Just sits on the sideline in street clothes.
He's good when he comes in. He played half the season.
He's not good as a starter, but as a backup, yeah.
He sucks donkey dong, dude. So does McKivitz. They both suck.
McKivitz does. No argument there.
People keep telling me I look like him. So.
And then we keep forgetting about the other guy. What's the other guy we drafted?
People tell me I look like Brunskill.
What's the other tackle we have on there? He didn't play very good.
Jalen Moore.
Jalen
Moore needs to be cut as soon as possible. He sucks.
That's the other.
That's
guy.
what people were saying about Aaron Banks, though. Remember?
Aaron never had a Swiss Army knife. No, I never.
Everybody was saying the Niners. They took Aaron Banks way too high. I don't know what they were doing, taking him with the second round.
I jumped the gun with that. Yeah.
Wasn't Jalen Moore like a 6th round pick though?
No, he was a 3rd or 4th.
Somebody was saying that. Oh yeah, you never know. Jalen Moore could be the starter this year.
He was a turnstile in the preseason when he was playing. Whew.
I think they're trying to keep him at left tackle, 8 years behind, or 5 years behind Trent Williams is going to make him an all-star left tackle, which it's
training
not
going
wearing
nowhere,
off.
bro. By the time Jalen Moore's ready, he'll be Trent's age.
Alfredo Gutierrez will probably progress to being a better tackle than
Gutierrez. That is a massive human being. Wow.
I like Gutierrez. But
Gutierrez.
He can't block for shit.
Is anybody okay? Beto's pretty tall. Ryan's pretty tall. I'm decently tall. Okay, I've stood next to somebody who's at least 6'10" to 7 foot. I'm 6'3". That dude's what, 6'8" as a left tackle?
Mhm.
Or 6'9"? That's stupid tall.
Oh, Gutierrez?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've been behind somebody before. I was like, I didn't think the dude was like 6'10", and like my eyesight was like at the middle of his back. Like that's how much shorter I was than him. I was a good 7 inches shorter, and I'm not short. That's dumb tall.
Yeah.
How do you play at that height, man? Whew. He's got to be 6'9".
Point guard.
Power forward or something.
Power forward, yeah.
Snatch some rebounds underneath. Holy hell. Jalen Moore drafted in the 5th round. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
5th? Okay.
Why not just slim him down and make him a tight end?
Who?
He looks
Gutierrez.
Gutierrez.
Slim him down so he gets a little more speed, make him a blocking tight end.
You gotta ask him, can he catch?
That'll take a while.
Can he catch?
He doesn't have to catch. Imagine him just crushing people.
He doesn't have to catch.
Yeah,
You
just
don't look
let
like he can run fast.
just put him on the other side.
But hey, don't catch. It's okay.
Yeah, you don't have to catch. You just
Hit
have
him
to
on the
stand
head.
there.
Just as long as the person behind him can catch the ball, that's all that matters.
Right.
They make him a
Roberto
fullback.
agrees with me. He says the Niners have to prioritize O-line and D-line. They have to. It's big. I'm getting excited because we're getting close to free agency.
Don't get wet, bro. Don't get wet.
Don't get wet.
He is.
Getting a little moist right now.
The
All
kids
right.
to bed. Come on,
Let's-
guys.
It's the
27
Sicilian in him.
It's the Sicilian in me.
Be a little
When I
early.
sweat, I
Just a little
sweat
bit early.
garlic. And
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
I love garlic.
Sauce.
I do like garlic.
Sauce.
That's probably why I'm single all the time, because I must have garlic in my pores. I don't know. Anyways.
The whole
wanna
basement
impress
probably
the lady.
smells like garlic.
Yeah, baby. Okay, enough of that. Hey, you guys saw the news that Kyle and his coaches are not attending the combine again this year for the 2nd year in a row. Does that bother any of you?
John Lynch is there.
Well, I know
John
Kyle is.
Lynch.
Yeah, Lynch is going to be there.
And
No.
Scout,
Lynch.
Lynch?
Scout
No,
would be there.
did I say John Lynch? I meant just Kyle and his coaches will not attend. This is the 2nd year in a row because he's had a turnover in his coaching.
Well, it's been working, right? I mean,
Yeah,
when
it doesn't
get
bother
good
me.
picks, yeah.
No.
I'm just glad that we kept Adam Peters this offseason. I'll be honest with you.
Adam Peters.
Yep.
If there's anybody that the Niners need to lock in, one, he fits the I'm really handsome in a suit guy role for the Niners. Like him and John Lynch they look like Silicon Valley, like good looking.
I'll look at Joy Taylor, but you can look
Why
at
does that
Adam
matter
Peters.
for you, Aaron?
It doesn't matter, but I'm just saying they fit that.
It doesn't matter.
It fits that California, like, hey, I'm Silicon Valley guy, like Wolf of Wall Street type looking dudes. You know what I mean?
Hey, I'm a New York guy.
I
How you
am a New
doing?
York guy. Don't get me started. So yeah, they're at the combine. It's gonna be weird though, because they don't pick till the 3rd round. Like, what the hell are they looking for?
We're
They
at the
gotta be-
bottom of the 3rd
They
round.
got to be peeing in their
round.
pajamas and seeing all these guys that they can't even freaking sniff
If
in the draft.
John Lynch is at the combine, it's probably not because they're looking at individual players at the 3rd round. He's probably there to see what kind of trades he can make.
That's
They're
true.
going to be schmoozing there's a lot of schmoozing going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just because you're not picking in the draft doesn't mean that
True.
you won't have a chance to get a hold of some of these guys later on and to be able to see what happens in the combine is important. Also, if they move up in the draft with one of those picks, they might be getting one of the guys that's on showcase. You know what I mean? Like, not necessarily one of the top guys, but like, let's say they pair a 3rd and a 5th and move up to get higher in the 3rd to get the end of like the top tier tackles. You know what I mean? Because you know how there's a certain group of a tier, you know what I mean? That's the top, and it starts trickling out, and depending on how the run goes, you know what I mean?
That was a fantastic answer there, Ryan. There you go. There's your F-bomb, Bashar.
I didn't get an
Fantastic.
F-bomb.
Fantastic.
No, I want a real F-bomb.
Somebody
Fucking
wants a real F-bomb.
fantastic.
There you go.
I prefer them coming out of Mariah's mouth.
Pajamas needed East
Oh.
Coast. What? I don't understand.
Pajamas.
You guys you're making fun of when I say That's like when someone's really excited, they don't know what to do, so they pee in their pajamas, you know?
No, I think he's saying because it's snowing out there out where you live.
Okay. Like all the women that see Jimmy Garoppolo, they're always peeing in their pajamas every time they see him, even though he sucks. Oh my God, it's him.
There's plenty of guys that 49er fans that do the same.
If he sucks for a while, then they probably like that.
That would be weird. Anyways, wow.
Just saying.
Hey, we always
And
got to go
that
weird
just went
once an episode.
Yeah, we got to go dark at least once in the episode. Let's offend Mariah while she's here.
Hey, it wasn't me this time. I was part of it. It's usually me and Aaron. It's usually me and Aaron, and then
Going
everybody
dark?
else kind of going.
Yeah, we're talking about rubbing beards together and stuff. Even though I don't have one.
Long as it's just beers, but you don't want to be rubbing nothing else.
No, exactly. Anybody else have any? I got one more thing to ask you guys, and then we can get out of here. Yeah, the show is definitely off the rails. Anybody else have any beef with Kyle not being there? No,
not at all.
Good. Here's my last topic that I put up, and I think everyone will agree with this. Well, maybe not. Do not draft a running back this year. Wait till the undrafted free agents.
Round, but you can draft one in
no, I don't want anything. I don't want anything.
I'm okay with that one. This doesn't have to be a third round.
Sixth is the latest I'd like to see one.
Fifth or sixth.
Well, Laura Cat.
What do you think, Mariah? What up, Laura?
I don't care as long as it's not the third round. But
as a running back,
we're gonna need a running back because Elijah Mitchell can't stay healthy.
True, and we got to keep McCaffrey from using as our fourth quarter banger. I do not understand that logic at all. But
I think once the third round hits, they need to bring the smudging out, and they need to smudge the shit out of that room because not a lot of production is coming out of the third round. Yeah. So, like, you know what I mean? Just
when you mean snub, do you mean like somebody dropping like a stink bomb in the draft room and vacating it for the third
smudging? Smudging. It's where you burn sage. It's like a Native American. Yeah. It's a ceremony,
in other words, they need to get their head out
to get rid of spirits and stuff. Yeah.
Well, not
get your head out of your ass and draft right.
Roberto, how much money did the Aaron pay you to say that?
I don't ask him that. Your check will be in the mail tomorrow. Oh, I brought it back up. Sorry.
Real quick, David, my email is my first name, Mariah35@gmail. It won't let me put it in the chat, so there you go.
Oh, I wonder why. That's weird.
Because it don't let you put links or emails or anything like that.
Oh, that's why. You got to space it out. That's why you could type it.
Yeah, I did. But still didn't let it go through.
Weird.
Don't tell Mariah what to do.
I was just coming up with a way to help her out.
What a macho guy, huh? Telling the woman what to do. No, I'm messing with you.
Listen, woman, I said put it in.
I already requested the whole F-bomb from her. She didn't honor my request.
Wait till we'll get her if the Niners pick a running back in the third round.
You're here. I didn't know you were here.
That'll be crazy. Stay away from the running back room. Stay back from the running backs in the third round. We just suck at picking running backs. I just think it's a waste. I mean, you have TDP. We have no idea what he is.
Yeah.
Jordan Mason, we kind of have an idea what he is. But he was
undrafted, so we can.
Kyle's the type of guy who rather runs somebody into the ground because he trusts them than give an opportunity to a young person to save the body of the guy that has had some injury. He's all about trust. And sometimes that bites him in the ass, and then he's going to get he gets the questions by the media if somebody gets hurt, and he does that. And when he gets that I hate that cocky thing that Kyle does. Kyle sometimes I don't know, but he's still the best coach we've had in a long time. So what's going on, Niner Gang podcast? Evening.
Hey, Dion.
Thanks for coming through. We're about to get out of here. Go ahead. Anybody who needs to share anything, go right ahead. Nothing?
We got a show tomorrow. At 6 p.m. It's called Niners and Friends. It's with two of our hosts tonight, Mariah and Beto.
Sweet.
I just want to invite everybody on through. Hope you enjoy.
See,
Mariah, do you
So
have
it's
anything
friends.
going on?
We're not your friends anymore. Is that what it is?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
That's exactly. We only act like friends on camera. Off camera, we're
I
pretty much
only have
a-holes
two
to each other.
friends, and it's now Mariah and Beto.
That's okay.
Niners, friends, and acquaintances.
That's all right. Me and Bashar text each other like
Yeah,
like
I'm
like
not in the
lovers.
text chat. Yeah,
We talk
Well,
about
we have the Twitter DMs, and I feel like I'm the only one that uses
no,
it.
no, yeah, no. 'Cause he'll randomly message me and be like, "Man, I'm so sick. I wish Trey Lance was starting." It was like during the season this
During
year.
the season, I was so
He's like,
pissed, man.
I'm happy that Purdy's doing really good, but I wish he was. I was just like, okay.
he's torn.
And then we went and we talked about other stuff that we like laugh about that I can't mention on stream, and then I calmed him down. So, but
You gotta laugh.
you gotta laugh. If you don't laugh, then it's not.
Then you cry.
You cry a lot. That's true. Right on camera.
No, you're
Right on
on
camera.
Don't cry.
Bang your desk. Cry real hard and erase your stream.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy. Yeah.
No, you don't want to be that guy. Anybody else have anything on their streams that they can share with us? I personally don't have much going on this week, but
For us on Thursdays, the 49er podcast network that we started, where all the podcasters come together and we chop it up. We had a great first week last Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then on Saturday night at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I do a 49er trivia, kind of like The Price is Right style, where you have to kind of like win to win and then to get into the drawing type of thing. People seem to like it. So come and check that out on Saturday nights at Pacific Standard Time on my channel. And then on Thursday, also on my channel, but also on the 49ers podcast network channel on YouTube. You can check us out at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah.
I think I'm on Benjamin Camperman's channel on Thursday at 8:30 Eastern. I'm pretty sure. So if you guys want to jump over, I'll put his channel in the community tab. Go support the young man. And that Friday is still kind of up in the air. Depending on how the news moves this week, guys. If we get some more hot news, then me and Beto and maybe we'll rent out a co-host for Friday. I don't know who it'll be, but that's pretty much it for my channel. Anything with you, Mariah?
Like Ryan said, tomorrow with those two, Beto and Ryan. Thursday, we'll do my regular show at 4 Pacific time on my channel. And then Saturday, I'm having Bashar on at 2 Pacific time.
Thank you.
But you're not her friend because you're not on our show tomorrow.
But is a friend show on your channel, or is it, I thought you hosted it?
We're at Restream right now, but I think I don't know. Restream might go away because it seems like having issues with Restream. So we'll do Restream at least for tomorrow, and then we'll figure out what we're doing.
Do you have an audio and video issues with it?
It's more audio. The video really isn't it. It seems like David McNiner always has issues on my stream, but I don't see him having issues on other people's streams and stuff like that. It's it's really handy to be able to stream on everybody's thing, but if you're not going to get good audio, then what is it worth doing?
Right.
Then?
No, it happened to me when I went on Wayne Breezy's channel probably a year ago. He invited me on and he was using Restream, and it was absolutely
garbage.
No matter what I did, I was echoing. And I tried to talk, and I was just like, "Hey, Reezy, I gotta go." Like everything I was saying was just, well, that's all I was doing the whole time. I'm just like, really? And I don't want to listen to my voice. Like, who wants to listen to like 3 or 4 Ray Romanos echoing at the same time? It's kind of weird. But Young Montana says Purdy's noodle arm snapped. Be nice. Be nice. All right,
I don't know what that guy's up to.
I don't know what's going on.
And make sure to follow us on our channel, everyone.
Rudy.
Hey, Rudy. Is this the real Rudy, or is this Rams run this chat?
Rudy. Rudy.
That might
Get
be
the hell out of
Rudy.
here, Rudy.
Oh,
Y'all need to.
Speaking
Y'all
of-
I'm
need
kidding.
to.
I'm kidding. I'm
Y'all
kidding.
need to be able
I
to
got pay-
field a team next year. I don't know what you're talking about.
I got Peo time coming on my show tomorrow.
You notice
at
Rudy can't
4:30.
say the champs are here?
No, that's the Chiefs now.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Bayo time.
Shout out
Zach.
to Peo time.
He was in my
Yes.
area. He was right near my house back when I first hurt my knee, and we were gonna meet up, but I'm like, I can barely move. I'm on crutches, so I had to. It was sucked. He's one of the best people on YouTube. Good human being as well. Like some people are cool only on YouTube, and then they're kind of d-bags behind the scene. Definitely not him. So
You're a D-bag
Yeah,
on
shout
camera and behind the scenes.
I'm a jerk
Go
wherever I
subscribe
am.
to Peo time.
Yeah, go subscribe to Pale Time. LA
Yeah.
Rams.
He's a Rams fan.
The real
YouTuber.
Rams YouTuber.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Sorry, Ramilia. All right, everyone. It's
knows
been
I'm
great.
listening to him.
Mariah, I appreciate you coming through. It definitely wasn't just because I was on your show. I really wanted you to come through here because I've had you on the channel back when it was just you and Taryn, but sometimes it's easier to get you on the big group stuff because it's like, I don't know, it just works easier.
Yeah, I appreciate
we
it.
always like adding to the NWO crew on Mondays, having our honorary members. I wish we could make t-shirts. I try to make a t-shirt on one of the sites, but the NWO logo seems like it's too small. So I don't know.
Why don't you talk to Bryant Colt?
I have to do something. I'm thinking of getting all of us, if you all have green screens, like I want to have, we could use the one of the backings and we could have an NWO like backdrop. So even if you're in
East Coast 49, I forgot the name of that East Coast something podcast.
East Coast Red and Gold podcast.
Yeah, they do t-shirts.
yeah, I got to ask
Yeah.
him. Maybe I'll
I
ask
think makes sense
Ty
because they're-
Alston or something to see how he does it. But yeah, it's been great. I appreciate you coming through, Mariah. I'm definitely going to do this during the regular season. But I really don't want to jinx it because, like, I don't want us losing. I want you on for entertainment value if we lose, but at the same time, I really don't want us losing. So
We're not going to go undefeated though, or anything
right,
like that.
maybe if we resign Jimmy Garoppolo, I'll have a spot guest for you, and you could just mother F the freaking.
You don't want me on that show if that's.
I'm sorry. I'm banishing Beto and Ryan for that one.
It could be just Bashar and her. I just
Yeah.
want to sit here and laugh.
I want to
just
bring.
wanna sit
I'd
here
have to
and
bring
laugh.
John V on that for that one too.
Oh,
Holy hell.
man.
One
I will be
scream
so
and
fucking
yell
pissed if that happens.
while the other one's, regrouping, and then while the other one's done and can't go anymore, then the other one screams and yell while the other one's recharging. You know what I mean? Like that's the show I want to have.
They might ban your channel.
Laura Katz said she'd rock a t-shirt, the NWO t-shirt. Though we got to get that. And G9 Garage says make mini wrestling belts. I was actually thinking of doing a 49ers first takes wrestling belt, but maybe I'll do a Niners World Order wrestling belt, put it on the wall behind me, and that would be just. I'd have to spend quite a bit of money, but I could send one out to the rest of you, and we could all have championship belts. That'd be sweet. But yeah, I appreciate you everybody for coming through. Thanks for supporting the stream, everyone. I'll keep you updated on my channel, and I'm sure everybody will do on theirs if anything to come that's of any interest. Like I said, off season's kind of tough, so we have to kind of grasp at what we can. So appreciate everybody coming through. Everybody have a great night. We'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Yeah.